Well, this is it. The magical place where approximately once every decade, this natural phenomenon occurs. Welcome to the incredible Lake Eyre.
Our country is a land of such stark contrast. And to experience the joy of the flood, you need to travel for kilometre after kilometre to Australia's barren backyard. The waters filling Lake Eyre have made that journey too. Torrential rains in Queensland swelling rivers 1,000 kilometres downstream. Nights fallen on the long drought. Next morning, the majesty of this outback oasis is revealed. Shimmering fingers of water lace their way through South Australia's dry heart.
We'll try to just take a moment and consider that just 3 weeks ago, all of this was desert. And now it's absolutely teeming with water. And so you may ask, how can this possibly be filled with wildlife in such a short amount of time? Well, Sunday night have put together a team of experts and very passionate people to help tell that story.
All the surrounding area is so dry. So, you know, there's only been about 6 mils of rain in the last 5 months here, and yet it's in flood.
Out on the water is Steve Murphy, one of our country's top naturalists.
We've had very little rain over the last 12 or 18 months, and yet the rivers are flooding. So we have things that are happening, you know, thousands of kilometres away, affecting the ecology right here. Being able to see these pretty rare breeding events where all these birds arrive, you know, it's a real privilege. Have a look through there, Jamie.
Yep.
That's a black kite.
Yeah, I've seen a few of these around, actually.
Yep.
A year ago, Steve's boss, the Australian Wildlife Conservancy, bought Kalamurina, the huge cattle station which sits at the top of Lake Eyre.
There's about 670,000 hectares, which makes it the largest non-government protected area in Australia and one of the largest in the world. And together, if you add Kalamurina with Lake Eyre National Park and Simpson Desert Regional Reserve, that area combined is larger than the area of Tasmania.
Got to be around here somewhere.
It's only when you come out here to the desert, near Lake Eyre, that you get a sense of how dry and precarious this environment really is. But this has been, and still can be, a haven for some very rare species. Some lucky to be alive.
Look at the little tracks here. See, that's the Amperta. So you can see he's come up running up here.
Oh, right.
Yep, so he's been around and active last night.
This is the little fella Steve's looking for, the Amperta, a nocturnal desert mammal. Feral animals and 100 years of grazing this marginal land have whittled away the territory of the Amperta and a crowd of other little desert creatures. So this is pretty much one of the hotspots of extinction in the world, is that right?
It is, Jamie. In modern times, the world has lost 44 mammals.
Right.
20 of those extinctions have happened in Australia.
You're joking.
So Australia has the worst record for mammal extinctions in the world. And of those 20, 10 of those have come from the arid systems of Australia, so the deserts.
You're kidding.
So we're looking at ground zero for extinctions in the world. So that's why, you know, this work's so important, because obviously we're dealing, there's another empty trap, we're dealing with a very fragile landscape.
It's a paradox. When Lake Eyre fills, it provides life and sustenance for an abundance of flora and fauna. But for those creatures eking out an existence on its arid fringe, it's brief respite from the ever-present threat of extinction. Steve's job is to change that.
You go out at night, you hear a scurrying over there and you look down and it's a bilby. You realise that the rest of Australia was once like that. So these little pockets that we're creating around the place, just bit by bit we're trying to recreate what Australia was like.
As remote as Lake Eyre is, you never get too lonely. As I was to discover, there's not just an explosion of water and wildlife, but outback characters as well.
The Lake Eyre Yacht Club isn't any old yacht club. It is the world's most exclusive yacht club. And that's not because you have to be a millionaire. It means that you have to be at the right place or get to the right place at the right time and get on the water.
Where else but in Australia would you find a yacht club in the middle of the desert? But when waters come, so does Lake Eyre's Commodore, Bob Backway.
Well, you've just got to look around you here at the moment. We're parked on the edge of a beautiful dune and we're going to watch the sunset on it. And it's just paradise to me. I think if you come here and spend a few days here, you soon fall in love with the place.
So, mate, how does a little bloke like me become a member of the yacht club?
There's one little catch, Jamie.
What's that, mate?
We do have a yacht club building with a backyard that needs work on. So a barbecue and courtyard would be very nice, thank you.
Well, mate, I do love a challenge. I'll put you on the list. Well, I never thought I'd have the opportunity to say this, but I'm actually sailing through Central Australia. Sand dunes and coolabah trees. Absolutely beautiful and very surreal. The floods in 2000 and 2004 were big enough for Bob to spend weeks on the biggest lake in the country. But this year may even be more spectacular.
The chances of a regatta this year are looking very good, and it'll be the first time since 1976 that this has been possible. In the middle of the day, you typically get a calm period and the water on the lake just goes dead flat and it's like a mirror. And it reflects the sky perfectly, so you can't see the horizon, and it's just like you're sailing on a boat floating through the air. It's just magical. There's just your boat and nothingness.
I sort of liken it to a live artery coming into a dead heart, and this heart just gets pumped full of life, and that's what I like about this.
When it comes to the Australian wilderness, few are as experienced as Outback Safari leader Rex Ellis. Over 4 decades, he's trekked every desert and most of our outback rivers. Oh yes, and he does have one other claim to fame too.
Now, Rex, is it true you were the first bloke to ever get across Lake Eyre in a boat?
Yeah, that's true. That was in 1974, the big floods in 74. We just saw the tops of these coolabahs, just a metre above the coolabahs.
For Rex, the inland flooding is a grand celebration of nature's capacity to renew itself, and a sad reminder of man's inability to take heed.
So would you call yourself a religious man?
I think I worship nature, Jamie, because nature does everything right, and we're the only species that defecates in its own nest, perhaps. And if you do that, well, you're down the googler.
My time at Lake Eyre is all too short, and soon enough, the waters themselves will recede and the lake will revert to salt-encrusted desert. But for this brief moment in time, in our backyard, we're blessed with one of the wonders of the world.
It gives you a bit of hope that it all's not lost. Suddenly it's just gone from, you come out and you don't see much, and you come out today and it's getting, so alive, and it's going to get more and more alive over the next few weeks and months. So,
Yeah.
It's great.